All right, class, we're going to go over how to factor by grouping. All right, as you can see, there's not a GCF for all four numbers. That's what you always look for first to see if there is a greatest common factor for all of these numbers. When there is not, what you do is you factor by grouping. So what that means is you're going to factor the first two, and then you're going to factor the last two terms together. Okay? So we're going to find the GCF for these two numbers and the GCF for these two numbers, like we did with the binomials yesterday. All right. So here, our GCF, and remember, look, if you can draw a factor tree, or what you could do, I'm gonna show you this in your calculator. If it's calculated inactive, you're gonna draw a factor tree for both numbers to see what the GCF is, like we did Monday. But if not, this is another way of doing it. What you do is you go to math, and then you go over to num, and you go down and look for GCD, greatest common denominator or factor, and you're going to type in the two numbers that you want to find the greatest common factor for, okay? So that's going to be 63, and then comma, and you have 54, okay? And you close the parentheses there, and that will give you 9. So you can take out a 9. Also, they both have at least two n's in common. So you're going to take out 9 n to the second, okay? Now what's left, you're going to divide to see what's left. After you take out a 9, when you divide 63, don't forget, you can use your calculator, but we know what this is. But look, you can use your calculator. You can say 63 divided by 9, okay? Just like that. That's going to give us 7 here. And you got two n's. So what's left is going to be just one n. And you can do the same thing here, and that's going to give us 6. So we got plus 6. You got 2. You took out two n's, so you don't have any n's left here. All right, let's look at these two. What they have in common, they're both negative, so we can take out a negative. And I'm going to show you how to do that greatest common factor in the calculator again. You go to math, then you're going to go to num, you go down to GCD, and you can type these two numbers in. So that's 105 comma 90, okay? And close the parentheses, and here's where you get 15. So they both have a negative 15 in common. Okay? So in order to figure out what's left here, you can divide again. So you have that 105 divided by 15, and that gives you 7. Okay? And you didn't take out an n, so you have n left here. Then you have 90 divided by 15, and that gives you 6. So you took out a negative, so this is going to be a positive 6. To check it, if you were to use distributive property, you should get this line above it. So when you multiply this together, this should give you 63 n to the third. When you multiply this together, it should give you this, and it does. Negative 15 times this 7n gives you this. Negative 15 times this negative 90 will give you, negative 15 times this positive 6 is going to give you a negative 90. All right? So now look at this line. What we notice is about these two parentheses, okay? What we notice is these two numbers are being multiplied by the same number. So since these two numbers are being multiplied by this same number, you can put these two numbers in a parentheses together. So that's going to be 9n squared minus 15. And you can just write this right beside it. So these two factors, if you was to multiply these two binomials together, you should get this answer right here. If you were to multiply these two numbers together or these two binomials together, you should get this polynomial here. That's how you know that these are your two factors, okay? Factoring a polynomial is the same as when you factor out a regular number. Let's suppose if we had, so let's do something easy, 4. When you break down 4, you got 2 times 2. Well, these two numbers multiplied together is going to give you 4. Just like these two polynomials, when you multiply it together, is going to give you this polynomial here. Okay, so that's what it means to factor, to find other polynomials when you multiply them together to give you this polynomial here, the original polynomial. Okay, so that's the first one. Let's do the second one. Okay, this is actually 5 in the number 5. Let me be consistent and use the same number. So let's do 6. We got 21 k to the third minus 84 k to the second plus 15k minus 60k. All right, what we notice is there's not a GCF for all of the numbers together. All right, there's that we can take out, so we're going to factor by grouping. So that means that we, other than 1, always a factor of every single polynomial, every single number is always 1, okay? So other than 1. All right, so we're going to factor these two together. So we're going to find the GCF here, okay? And some of us can do that in our head, but I'm going to show you once more how to do that in the calculator if you can't, okay? So we're going to go to math again, num, go down to GCD, greatest common denominator, same thing as finding greatest common factor, and type in the two numbers that you want to find the greatest common factor for. So that's 21 and 84. So we got 21, comma, 84. Close the parentheses and press enter. Okay? So that's going to give us 21. So we can take out a 21. They both have at least 2 K's in common. This has 3 K's, this has 2 K's. So they at least have 2 K's in common. So when you divide to figure out what factor is left or what factor can be multiplied to give me this, only 1 K is left. 1 K. I'm just going to put K. Okay? Here when you divide, all right, we know we're going to get a negative. All right? And we say 84 divided by 21, and that's going to give us 4. Okay, we took out 2 K's, so we just have 4 here. So now we're looking for greatest common factor between those two numbers. So again, we go to math, num, and we're going to type in, let's go down, sorry, GCD. So now we're going to type in 15, comma, 60, okay? Close the parentheses, enter. That's going to give us 15. So we're going to take out a positive plus 15. Don't forget to put that sign here, okay? All right, they're not both negative, so you're going to take out just the positive 15. And what you have left is going to be K, 1K. So we just put K. The automatic coefficient in front of that K is 1. We do the same thing here. Look. Some of you can do that in your head, but if you can't remember, you can type it in. 60 divided by 15. Do you see that? That gives you 4. So this is going to be minus 4. Again, these two numbers are being multiplied by the same number, by the same binomial. So since it's being, if it wasn't the same binomial, you'd have to keep this as the answer. You have to stop right here. But since both of these numbers is being multiplied by the same number, you can write this by putting these two numbers in the parentheses together, the numbers on the outside, together, because they're both being multiplied by, so this is another way to write this line. So now you have two binomials. If you were to multiply these together, it's going to give you this polynomial here. So these are the two factors for this polynomial. Okay? Questions about that? Please, if you have questions, text me. Or if it's during the day, you can write me a message on PowerSchool. All right. Let's make sure that you can see all of that. Okay? Have a good day.